We're back here again with John DiLeo in his basement, who has kindly agreed to give us another episode. This will be season 4 of No Small Parts.
Hey everyone. It's another installment about my book, There Are No Small Parts 100 Outstanding Film Performances with Screen Time of 10 Minutes or Less. And today we're going to talk about Marion Lorne and her 4.5 minutes in her screen debut in Alfred Hitchcock's classic Strangers on a Train. Now, most people who remember Marion Lorne remember her as ditzy Aunt Clara, the witch on Bewitched, well, one of many witches on Bewitched, but the particularly ditheringly incompetent one, very charming. She actually won an Emmy posthumously for that role. But that's the one I think most people remember her for. She was also on Mr. Peepers in the 50s, if you can go way back. But she's only in 3 movies, and Strangers on a Train was the first one, and the second one's a movie called The Girl Rush, a musical with Rosalind Russell. And the last one is The Graduate, in which she has a cameo with Alice Ghostly at a reception at the hotel when Dustin Hoffman's meeting Anne Bancroft for their tryst. But in Strangers on a Train, she plays Robert Walker's mother. He is the sociopath of the film, the murderer. And it's an interesting movie because it came after what you would call Alfred Hitchcock's slump, which after a string of hits in the first half of the 1940s in Hollywood, he kind of hit a dead end with The Paradine Case, Rope, Under Capricorn, and actually one I like a lot called Stage Fright, which also was not a success. So this one sort of got him back on track.
Is this the one where the one guy agrees to murder the other
Yes,
guy?
it's called, they call it, well, Robert Walker calls it crisscross murders.
Right.
If I murder your victim and you murder mine, we have no motive, so how could they possibly trace it back? And we don't know each other as far as anyone knows.
And then the Danny DeVito movie, Throw Mama from the Train, was the takeoff on this one?
Yes, that's true. It's a terrific thriller. It's very funny. It's got great performances. Robert Walker gave the performance of his life and died soon after. It's also got Farley Granger and Ruth Roman, and this wonderful 2-scene role of Marion Lorne. She's Robert Walker's mother, and she coddles him, and he's obviously not well, somewhat deranged, but she refuses to see it. And of course, she's kind of dotty and batty herself, so we know where he gets it. And so no matter what he does, she finds him adorable. And their first scene together, she's giving him a manicure. Of course, he's about to strangle someone, and they're delightful together. And she is sort of the way you would get to know her on Bewitched. And then her second scene is when Ruth Roman comes to confront her about the fact that her son is a killer. And she, of course, refuses to believe it and thinks, oh, he's just a mischievous, dear, dear boy. And, Hitchcock loved funny scenes in his thrillers, and this is a good example. Both of her scenes are very funny, and she's oblivious to everything that goes on and stays happily in her bubble, we presume. So Robert Walker immediately murders Farley Granger's wife, someone he's trying to divorce, who's a horror. So he gets the benefit of that murder where he's now free, but he, of course, is not intending to murder Robert Walker's father. And of course, Robert Walker won't let that go. So it gets more and more intense. It's got the great climax at the carousel. The carousel becomes unhinged, and it's got so many wonderful things in it. And like I said, one of the delights is these 2 scenes with Marion Lorne.
One thing about Hitchcock is one of the only producers that can make you cringe and then laugh
Yes.
in
Yes.
a couple of seconds apart.
Yes, he's a great entertainer. He's a genius as a filmmaker, but he always wanted to entertain, and so you always feel like he's right there with you. He's scared with you, and then he has such a wonderful sense of humor that he's laughing right along with you. So yes, he's always sort of a companion to the audience. And so if you want to see Aunt Clara a good decade, a few more years than a decade before Bewitched, but still very much Aunt Clara in her way. She's a delightful cameo in Strangers on a Train.
And if you want to read about the other 99 No Small Parts, please get John's book.
Thank you.